Paultons Park have just released concept art for their brand new land coming May 2026 called Valgard, the land of the Vikings. I was literally at Paultons Park just this morning for the opening of their new ride, Ghostly Manor, and they then held a coaster fans event for enthusiasts and creators this evening, in which they announced this brand new land with the concept art and details about which rides we could be able to find inside that land. As we have seen from Paultons over the past few years, their new additions have been fantastic quality, and from what they've just released, this new land looks to follow that trend with some really good theming and high quality attractions. Let's dive into looking at the concept art. So, most notably, their brand new coaster and their first coaster with inversions. It's not an RMC, it's actually going to be a Gerstlauer Eurofighter called Drakon. This red track will weave in and out with Cobra, which will be rethemed, we'll get onto that in a moment. It's going to have a beyond vertical drop, 2 inversions, so not just one, going to have 2 inversions, and some other good airtime hills and funky moments that we know and love from our Gerstlauer Eurofighters. The other major coaster in this area will be Cobra, but it's now going to be rethemed and called Raven with a bright green track. Now, I believe next year will actually be 2 decades since Cobra opened, so I think it's perfect timing for this coaster to get a refresh, revamp, and they've said they're going to add so many new theming elements that's actually going to be like a totally new ride experience. If you look at the other coasters that they recently added, like Storm Chaser and Pteranodon Flyers, those have pretty decent theming elements around them. I mean, Pteranodon Flyers, you kind of fly through a mini cave. I imagine something like that might happen. They've said the concept art, similar to what they did with Tornado Springs, the concept art that they released was actually pretty similar to what they ended up producing as a final product. They've said it's going to be similar here, but they've learnt from their previous lands and they want this one to be even better. So some of the detail might not be in the concept art, but they're pretty certain that what they put out in this concept art will be quite similar to what they actually end up creating in the land. So it looks like Cobra Station will have a brand new refresh, which is great because at the moment it looks like a Six Flags park with some concrete switchbacks and yellow railings. So this is desperately needed, and I'm really glad it's happening because I think Cobra is an excellent coaster. And those 2 Gerstlauers will complement each other perfectly for the high thrill section of this park. The last ride in this area will be an Art Engineering Wild Swing. Haven't come across one of these before, and that's because this will be the first one in the UK. For those of you who don't know, Art Engineering recently did the trains, the new sit-down trains for the Wave at Drayton Manor, but they also do flat rides as well. To me, this kind of looks like a family-friendly version of an S&S Screaming Swing, where you have the 2 arms on either side will spin round and round, and then the gondola in the middle will kind of swing back and forward. So not as thrilling as something like an S&S Screaming Swing, but more family-friendly. And it looks to be a good addition. I'm sure this will be well themed along with the rest of the land. It will have 8 seats on either side, so relatively low capacity, depending on what cycle they run and how long they run it for. To be honest, I don't think this will really be a problem with Paultons because they have so many attractions. The crowds do spread out fairly well throughout the entire park. Even when I was there this morning, opening for a brand new ride, it was a very busy park. Queues still went above 10-15 minutes. Noticeably absent from this concept art is 2 rides. Firstly, Edge. Completely gone, not in the concept art at all, which I do find kind of strange. Maybe Paultons are thinking about the fact that we do already have a Vikings themed Zamperla disco in the UK already at Drayton Manor, but I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. They might relocate it to another section of the park, I'm not sure where, or they could sell it off. They haven't disclosed anything on this at the moment. However, they have talked about Magma. Magma will be going. Its last day of operation will be the 7th of September this year. So if you're looking to ride it before then, do make sure you get your last rides in on it. I always thought this was an enjoyable ride. I thought it was a perfect fit for Paultons Park, and they don't have another drop tower, so maybe in the future they can get something else to replace it. But for now, it's leaving the park. They have said it's not leaving the UK, so they've clearly made plans to sell it to another park. Feel free to speculate down below. I'm not sure who that would be a good fit for. Maybe a park like Legoland. I'm not really sure where else it could go. I mean, Chessington's already got one. Thorpe Park doesn't need one. I mean, it's not going to be a great fit at Alton Towers. Blackpool have just got, they've just refurbished launch pads, so it's not going to be there. So maybe Legoland, but let me know where you think Magma will end up. Then there will be a brand new food and beverage outlet and a kids play area to wrap up the land. So in total, we've got 2 roller coasters, 1 flat ride, a food and beverage outlet, and a play area, combined with Paultons' amazing theming and expert landscaping, and we have what looks to be a really excellent themed land coming to the UK next year. I'm enjoying where Paultons are kind of taking this with their first coaster with inversions. They're clearly catering more towards the family thrill market, which I think is sensible. They've got a really strong hold in the young family market with Peppa Pig World and their other areas. These coasters are very low thrill, with the most with Storm Chaser and Cobra being the ones at the top of their thrill level, which, to be honest, they could definitely take a step up and have lots of people appreciate that in the park. A coaster with inversions, a coaster with a higher top speed, a coaster with bigger forces. For the coaster enthusiasts and for older kids and families that are still coming with their younger siblings, this is a ride that they can go on and enjoy. And they can feel that they've accomplished a more frightening and scary ride. For some people, for many people actually, this will probably be their first inversions. There's not many other parks around the southwest. I mean, this was my old home park. If this was around when I was younger, this would 100% have been my first inversion. So I think it's an excellent addition for Paultons, something more thrilling, but not too thrilling to alienate their current audience. I'm sure the theming will be excellent. I am interested why they've chosen Vikings, considering Drayton Manor have kind of just redone their Vikings themed area. I think it's quite an easy theme. I'm sure they'll do a good job of it. You look at something like Epic Universe with Isle of Berk. I'm sure they'll take some inspiration from that. It looks like they kind of already have with the building styles and the grass on the roofs. I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but from some of the pictures I've seen, Berk looks to be excellent, and it's actually probably got some of the best reviews from people that have gone to the park already. So if they can kind of interpret and feel inspired by that, I think it would be an absolutely excellent land. I love How to Train Your Dragon. Vikings are great. I think the families are going to love it as well. But that is not all. They have teased that in 2027 there'll be an expansion to this land. In the announcement, they pointed out there's a bit of a storm cloud over the northeast side of the concept art. And then they released this bit of footage, which I will show you now. Combined with pictures that people have taken at the park this morning, which look to be Mack footers similar to Hyperia and the Wave, I'm pretty certain that this is going to be a Mack water coaster. The park have also said that this will be the first of its kind in the UK, which also fits the bill with a Mack water coaster. And this is great. I think the park do need another water ride. They've just got rid of the Flume. They've put in the Lost River ride, which is a very well themed but very small little kiddie Flume ride. So I think a larger water ride with a water coaster would be an excellent addition. Again, I'm sure this will be excellently themed. I think it's a very smart decision from them to kind of open up the land as it is next year with just building the one additional coaster and flat ride. And retheming Cobra, and not to try to do all of it in one go. And then they've got more people coming back the year after to experience their new water ride. So smart business decision. I'll definitely be going for the opening of this new land and then going back again for the opening of the new water coaster the year after. Yeah, I think it looks great. We haven't had a new substantial water ride in the UK for ages. I can't even think of the last one that was added, apart from the one I just mentioned, but like a substantial one, not just a little kiddie Flume. Like, this is going to be maybe not as tall as something like Tidal Wave, or as big as a Splash, or is going to get you as wet as that. But if they're going with something more thrilling with Dragon, I'm sure the Mack coaster will have a decent amount of height and speed to it to kind of continue that higher thrill level in that section of the park. And lastly, just as a little bit of extra info, they have confirmed that they will be building some sort of accommodation just past this Vikings land. They've said that they're not really too far into planning stages of this. They hadn't even really talked about it this time last year. They're thinking it's going to be coming sometime around 2030. And finally giving Paultons Park the accommodation that it really, really needs, and creating it to more of a resort style than just a day trip theme park. They have mentioned that there might be tree houses and underground accommodations. So it won't just be standard rooms, it'll be some sort of immersive land maybe, or some sort of additional aspect to the accommodation rather than just being hotel rooms. Which I think again fits in with what Paultons have been trying to do recently. And I'm sure it will be done to a high quality. But again, not for probably another 5 years. So yeah, super exciting for Paultons. They continue to develop and expand, and they continue to make what look like excellent choices for their new themed lands. I can't wait to see this come to life. I'll be sure to get down there and check out some construction updates over the next year or so. So if you'd like to see those, make sure you're subscribed. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this new land. Do you think the Vikings is a good choice? What do you think about the water coaster? Do you think it's going to be a water coaster? Please do let me know down in the comments. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I'm so close to 1,000 subs, and I'd love your help to hit that. And I hope to see you very soon in the next one.